Hello, you guys. I'm back again with another video. I know it's been a minute since I've made a video. It's been probably like a month since I've made a video. It's been a long time, but only because, as you guys may know, I finally left Alaska back in the last week of January and finally got to our new duty station, which is no longer Fort Moore. It's Fort Benning again. They just changed it back like a few weeks ago. I mean, I don't even know why they changed the first place. But anyway, yes, we're back at Fort Benning, Georgia. The last time I made a video, we were in the hotel. We stayed in the hotel for like a month and a half, I want to say. And we ended up getting a house off post. Actually, the last week of February, we ended up moving in. Like last week, February, first week of March, we ended up moving in. And you know what's crazy? Housing called us a week after we moved in the house to say that they had one available. And we was like, seriously? Like, really? That was such a great time to call? Because we were really aiming getting on post because it would have been a whole lot cheaper than what we're paying now, because I think the house we wanted is like, I think 1800 a month, plus that would have included water and lights, versus now we're paying $18.75 to rent in a neighborhood, which is cool, but still, and then have, of course, on top of that, a light bill and a water bill. So yeah, that is very irritating. But back to the information on this video, I wanted to make a new video detailing about Fort Benning, Georgia, and the areas that's surrounding it, because a lot of people don't really know about the areas that are so close by. Most people just think about Columbus, Georgia when they hear about Fort Benning. And of course, I wanted to make this video because I have a friend. Her name is Tiffany, and she's going to be moving from Alaska in the next few weeks. And I thought about it. She really doesn't know too much about the area because she's been house searching, and the only thing she really knew about was Columbus, Georgia. And I was like, no, you can look in Fort Mitchell. We previously lived there, in Phoenix City, Alabama. So I just want to make a video to give new people that are going to be moving to Fort Benning, I've never been here before, just show you some clips of the areas that surround it and tell you some information about it. So I hope this video is helpful. All right, so the first place we're going to get into is Columbus, Georgia. So first time I ever came to Columbus, Georgia was back in 2018, and I thought that it was really nice coming from that I was moving from Fayetteville, North Carolina at the time. I actually like the area. Now, just to let you know, just like any area that you go to, you're going to have a good part and you're going to have a bad part. Columbus is pretty much the same. Just like Columbus has a good part of the city, they also have a bad part of the city where there is crime. But aside from that, Columbus is actually a nice area. Of course, there are so many restaurants for you to eat at. Like when I left, they were building a lot of restaurants. 3 years later, all of those restaurants here in my first week in Columbus, I ate myself into a food coma and gained 10 pounds that I am currently trying to get off my body, plus the extra fat that I brought from Alaska that I'm trying to get off my body as well. But yes, the food places are amazing. Like, it's nothing like Southern cooking, which I love. They have so many different stores, and the areas are very nice. Some very nice houses, nice apartment complexes for you to stay. I heard that the schools are very good as well. They have so many up here. One thing that got me, that when I first came back from Alaska, is driving on the interstate, because Columbus, Georgia has 4 lane highways and to get off at the exits. And when I tell you, my anxiety was at an all-time high, because in Alaska, you're pretty much just driving on 2 lane roads the whole time. Even when you're going to Anchorage, which is 6 hours away from Fairbanks, still 2 lane roads. Being back on the interstate, I swear I was having like mini heart attacks driving. So I pretty much the first week made my husband drive me everywhere. When I tell you he was pissed, he was pissed. And it got to the point where he started like making excuses like, oh, I can't drive because I'm too tired, or some little excuse that forced me to actually get out on the road and drive myself. So right now, I am a pro. I be ducking and dodging out of traffic like it's nothing. But when I first got back, I had to really get used to the fact of, being on a 4 lane highway and have cars zooming 70 and 80 miles per hour by me, because you don't deal with that in Alaska. There's no need for you to speed 70, 80 miles because everything is super close in Fairbanks. Like, literally every restaurant, every store is no longer than maybe 10 or 15 minutes, versus when you come into Columbus and you may live on Post or in Fort Mitchell or Phoenix City, it's at least going to be a 20 to 30-minute drive. So I'm glad that I finally got that fear controlled. Now, if I can only get my other fear control of driving to Atlanta, which is only like 2 hours from here. I did it when we had to pick up our car from the place there and bring it back. My husband drove there, but I drove back while he drove the rental. I drove my car back, and when I tell you I was scared as I don't know what, that's my next hump. I've gotten over the interstates in Columbus. Now I got to get over my next hump. All right, so the next place we're going to talk about is Phoenix City, Alabama. Now, what people don't realize is that Columbus, Georgia is actually extremely close to Phoenix City. How close, you ask? So close that you cross a bridge. You're basically just you're over here in Phoenix City, and all you have to do is take a step and cross the bridge, and you are in Columbus, Georgia. It is pretty much just that close. So yeah, Phoenix City is nowhere from there. Phoenix City, I actually live there now. I've been here, what, maybe we've been living in the house going on 2 months. The area I live in, it's a cool area. It's, not like the area I lived in Fort Mitchell, which I really loved, but the area in Phoenix City I lived in, it's actually good. What I really love about it, I've heard so many people say that the school systems in Phoenix City are very good, way better than the school system in Fort Mitchell. I will say school has been kicking my babies butts because the lessons that they give here is very different from the lessons they give in Alaska. But they've been keeping up with it, and I am extremely proud of them. One thing I do love about living in Phoenix City is that I am so close to the stores. Like, it takes me 5 minutes to get to Walmart. Takes me 5 minutes to get to any restaurant, because Phoenix City, of course, have a lot of stores and they have a lot of brand new restaurants. I just realized a few weeks ago when I got here that they not only have a new Outback Steakhouse, which is good because now you don't have to drive all the way to Columbus to go to Outback. You can have it in Phoenix City. They also have a Chipotle, so that hasn't opened up yet. I cannot wait because I do love me some Chipotle. But Phoenix City is actually really nice. My kids are enjoying going to school. I was kind of a little worried about how far it would be from Post. It's actually from where we live is only a 20-minute drive. My husband usually goes from Phoenix City to get to Columbus to get on Post. Now, me, I make my drive a little bit longer. I have just started back yesterday, finally going back to the gym, since I know my husband's schedule, because we're still, of course, sharing one car until later on this year. Next year, I'm able to get my own. So I have to wait till he get off at a certain time to go to the gym. And usually I just go from Phoenix City to Fort Mitchell and go through that back gate to get to the gym, because Smith Gyms is so close to that back gate by Fort Mitchell. But Phoenix City, from what I can see, is actually really nice. I'm enjoying that I don't have to drive so far to get to different places. So that is definitely a plus. All right, so the next place is going to be Fort Mitchell, Alabama. So I lived in Fort Mitchell, Alabama when we first moved here in 2018. I remember my first time we were trying to find a house in Columbus, Georgia, but we couldn't find one. So the realtor he told us about, well, Fort Mitchell, Alabama have some nice places. So I'm thinking because he was saying Alabama that it was pretty far, was not far at all. When I first got there, I noticed that it was pretty much just a long country highway with a gas station and a bunch of trees and a few trailers. And I was like, OMG, this is a country. It reminds me of where I'm from, Macon, Mississippi. Super small, nothing out there. And this is just a big long highway. So as you go down this big long highway, people going about 70 and 80 on this big long highway, you realize that once you get up on that hill, there are so many big, nice houses. That area is full of a lot of retired military people and active duty. They are, when I say building so many houses out there, building so many houses. I've been gone for 3 years and they have built so many new neighborhoods, not only new neighborhoods, they before it was only just $2 generals out there. Now they have like a Family Dollar and a Dollar Tree right across from Family Dollar, which I mean Dollar General, which I think is crazy, but I've noticed that in a lot of places down south where they have a Dollar General right across from Family Dollar and Dollar Tree. Also, they have a lot of restaurants. I loved living in Fort Mitchell. It was super quiet out there, super peaceful. The community there really sticks together, which I loved. We rented two houses out there, and I loved both my houses. We had like a one level 4 bedroom house, and then the next time we had to move because the owners were moving back, so we had to end up moving to a new place, and we had a 6 bedroom, I think 4 bath house, and I loved that house. Loved it. I was so sad when we had to leave. I was so sad. And then when we decided to just go to Fort Mitchell because we have some friends that live out there, and we passed by our old house. Somebody done moved in it. They done built a fence and everything. And I was so sad because I would have loved to have that house. My husband was like, we should have bought that house before we left. But of course we didn't. But my husband did say that he's considering maybe buying next year or the year after. So I do hope so. Fort Mitchell is super nice. It reminds me of home. It has that country field. Um, I personally never had to deal with anything crime wise when living out there, but I will say, while living out there, I did hear some stories of people having problems, of people coming from Columbus and stealing their cars or robbing their cars. So I would suggest, if you do live in Fort Mitchell, please have cameras. Have cameras outside your house, and always keep your car doors locked, because I guess a lot of people was thinking, because like I said, it's a close knit community. Pretty much people, know each other there, because you see the same people. You're going to the same gas stations, the same stores, all that stuff, the same restaurants. They have like a Marco's Pizza out there. They have Fuzon, which is a Chinese restaurant. So a lot of people, you see the same people like every single day, and you would assume that it's safe. So a lot of people were locking their vehicles, and next thing you know, somebody then took their vehicle to Columbus and chopped it up. But I would definitely say, if you're gonna live in Fort Mitchell, granted, it's an amazing area to live. It is nice. Still, get cameras. 'Cause I told my husband, if we ever live out there again, we're gonna get cameras. I live in Phoenix City right now. We put cameras outside in the front yard and in the backyard, because you just never know. In today's time, it's better to be safe than sorry. But yes, Fort Mitchell is definitely a great place to live, and you are not far from Post at all. You're literally, if you live on top of the hill where all the other houses and stuff are, you're pretty much like 8 minutes away from the back gate to get to Fort Benning, and that gate is open 24 hours, which I love. I usually take that gate driving from Phoenix City and going through that way to get to the gym. So, yep, I would definitely advise people, look at Fort Mitchell because they do have a nice area there. And also because they didn't have like some new stores. Usually you would have to like drive down that long highway and there would be nothing else out there. Because on the highway, I think it's what, just two gas stations. There's a liquor store out there. You have Rainbow, the grocery store. Then, of course, you have, like I said, those restaurants. They're building a Mexican restaurant out there, which is going to be nice. And I think they have a wing place and a burger place out there too. But now, when you're leaving off the highway, like leaving Fort Mitchell, they have like Renfro's, the grocery store, which was there before I left. I love that grocery store. You have a Taco Bell now. They didn't have that before, and a Wendy's, and then they have another Marcos piece up there too. Another gas station, a Jack's. So they have really came up since I left. So yeah, definitely if you're moving to Columbus and you can't find a house on Post or in Columbus, Georgia, definitely do not forget about Fort Mitchell. All right, so the next place we're going to talk about is Smith Station. Now, I am going to like a lot of information on Smith Station. I personally have never actually went to Smith Station, but I passed by it. I know Smith Station is really not far from Phoenix City, maybe 10 minutes away. From what I've heard, they have a lot of nice houses out there. As for schools, I could not tell you, but from what I've heard from other people, Smith Station is a nice area to live in. Also, other closer cities that's not too close to Post that you probably would just want to visit if you get tired of Columbus or if you get tired of Phoenix City. You can always go to Opelika, Alabama. Opelika, Alabama is actually like 40 to 50 minutes away from Columbus, Georgia, and Phoenix City. It's a small place, but pretty nice. I will tell you one thing I love that they got a Whataburger. My husband is like a Whataburger fanatic. First time we ever had it was when we went to Florida. And just to let you know, if you live in Fort Mitchell, Florida is only 3 hours away because we drove to Destin from Fort Mitchell, Alabama. So 3 hours away from the beach, like that's amazing. And then if you're in Columbus, Georgia, you're only 2 hours away from Atlanta. So that's even better. But Opelika, Alabama is actually pretty nice. Whataburger, which I love. I got to get out there real soon because since I've been back, we haven't been. So that has to be on our to do list too. But yep, Opelika is actually nice. And Auburn, Alabama is actually really nice as well. A lot of stores and a lot of restaurants for you to go to. So, you guys, this concludes my video. I hope that it's informative to you guys. I tried to do a lot of different videos just to show you how the area and stuff look, just to get a feel of where you may want to move to. If it's Fort Mitchell, if it's Phoenix City, if it's Smith Station, if it's Columbus, just to give you a few ideas besides living on Post. So, guys, please feel free to ask me some questions. I love getting you guys' comments. And thank you for watching. Bye.